Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our second unit, which is titled Take My Advice. Our lesson today is the language in context and the listening part in your books, page 22. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 22, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started. From yesterday's lesson, you had a homework which was on page 89. Exercise C. In this exercise, you're actually reading a text or a situation. It will summarize a problem. Then you will come up with your solutions or with your advice. We're having the beginning and you are coming up with your own ideas. At the beginning in here, we're having two friends are having a problem. Listen to the problem, then come up with the solutions. Let's listen together.
Hamid has invited Ibrahim over to his house to play video games. Ibrahim likes Hamid and would like to be his friend. But someone else told Ibrahim that the reason Hamid invited him is because he wants to play the new video game that Ibrahim bought last week. What should Ibrahim do?
So we're having here two friends, Hamid and Ibrahim, and they're having this problem. What should Hamid or Ibrahim do? We will say that he could ask Hamid. Ibrahim could ask Hamid, are you asking me home so you will play with my video game? Also, he should trust his friends, should trust them. He likes you as well as he likes the game. Also, he had better not to listen to others, not listen to others, what the others say. You can come up with any suggestion or any, let's say, advice as long as it starts with could, should, had, better not. What about Amira in here? She's having a problem. Let's listen to her telling us about her problem and you will come up with your advice. Let's listen.
Amira could not find her gym shoes, so she borrowed her younger brother's shoes. They are very comfortable, but they are different from girls' shoes. Amira is happy to have them, but she is afraid that her friends will tease her. What should she do?
So in here, we're having Amira's wearing shoes which belongs to her little brother. They are comfortable, but she's afraid that the others are going to tease her. What advice can you give to Amira? We will say that she might set a new style. She will say that's a new style. Also, we're having she should explain the situation to her friends. Tell them about what happens. I lost my shoes and these are comfortable. And we can say that she ought to be confident. You can come up with any other advice as long as they start with might, should, or ought to. Ought to is stronger than should and should is stronger than might. Let's go to the following. In here we're having Paul and his father and his colleague or team, his class team. Let's listen to the problem and we suggest some advice.
Paul is the best player on the school basketball team. This year his father is helping the gym teacher to coach the team. Although this seemed like a good idea, it's not working out well. Paul's father is always yelling at him and telling him he's not good at basketball. Paul seems nervous and isn't doing well. That's hurting the team. The other players are worried, especially because some important games are coming up. What should the other players do?
So we're having a good player whose name is Paul. His father is coaching the team. However, the father is yelling at his son. And Paul is not playing very well. The other friends, his colleagues or the other staff, are trying to help him. What should they do? We will say that they shouldn't blame Paul. Paul haven't done anything wrong, so they should not blame him. Also, they should talk to Paul's father, his father who is the new coach. Just talk to him. And also, they had better encourage their friend Paul. Encourage them. Tell them good words. You can come up with any other advice as long as they start with shouldn't, should, or had better. Okay? Let's go ahead, and for our lesson today, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to discuss some common problems. You'll be able to give some advice for a given problem and answer some questions on a listening text. So giving discussing problems and giving advice, and also answering some questions. At the beginning in here, let's look at the picture on page 22, and I want you to describe the man who's in the picture. We can tell that he is stressed, maybe he's busy, looks like he's tired, he looks like someone who's sick, he looks like exhausted, too tired, he looks like someone who's nervous, sleepless, haven't slept in a while, and overthinking, someone who is overthinking. All of these are some of the problems that people are going through nowadays. Now we are going to look what seems to be the problem, and let's try to give advice. What seems to be the problem? Here we're having someone who's spending long hours on his computer day and night. So he works for long hours every day in the office. So spending too long hours on working at office. What advice can you give this person? I can tell him that you should hire an assistant. You should find someone who can help you. Also, we can tell that you ought to work less. Ought to work less than that. How about the other problem in here? Let's try to summarize the problem. Someone who's at home, he is working, and let's look at the calendar. It looks like it is actually on Friday, the weekend. So we can tell that the problem is he takes work to do at home on the weekend. This is the problem. What advice can you give this person? I will tell, you should enjoy your weekend. You should enjoy it. Also, we can say, you ought to manage your time. When it is the weekend, just leave the work at your office and work during the weekdays. How about the following problem? Here we're having a man, and we're having too many cups of coffee. Looks like the problem is he drinks a lot of coffee. It's not good for your health. What can we tell, or what advice can we tell? I will say, you should reduce caffeine. Drink less caffeine. We can also say that you had better drink more water. More water. Reduce the caffeine and increase the water. How about the following problem? We're having here a man who's driving day and night. The problem could be he spends a long time in traffic on his daily commute. Every day from work to his house, he spends long hours. Looks like that it is a heavy traffic. What advice can we give this person? We can say that you ought to use this time well. You're wasting some time, try to use this time well. We can give him advice like, you had better listen to audiobooks. One of the suggestions is had better listen to audiobooks as long as you can't read them. Let's look at this picture and we will come up with the problem. Looks like we're having someone who's busy. He's having too many tasks and can't go to the gym. He doesn't have time to exercise. Someone who's not exercising, he might in a risk for health problems. What advice can we tell this person? I will tell him, you should find the nearest gym. Find a place, a gym that is very close to your house, so it's not a headache to go in there. You had better set a schedule. Just put your schedule and add the gym to your schedule. Set your schedule. One problem in here. Let's look, we're having some people are hanging out. They are sending their friend to come over. However, he's not feeling like going. He rarely goes out with his friends. Rarely goes out. Maybe he's spending long hours playing video games or doing work. What advice can we advise the one who's not going out? We will tell him, you ought to meet your friends. It is a good idea, and you had better set priorities. What is the most important thing and the least important thing? Also, we're having here someone who's thinking about going out or going on a holiday. The problem seems like he hasn't had a vacation or going on a holiday in a long time. What can we tell? We can give advice. You should plan a vacation. You should plan. And also, you ought to take a break. You will come back to work fresh and excited to do more work. Okay, how about you? What do you think that are the most common problems for people you know around you? Look at you, your friends, maybe your family members. What are the most common problems that you are going through? We can tell that we're having problems like getting along with friends. Whenever I go to a new school or a new place, I don't find friends or someone that I can hang out with. The idea of weight control, people who are overweight or underweight. The idea of stress, too many homework, assignments, quizzes, and things to do. Also, we're having the idea of keeping fit. I want to be strong and healthy. What should I do? Try to give advice, 1 to 2 advice for each one of these. All done with the problems and giving advice? Now let's look into these pictures that we've got in here. We're having 3 pictures, and I want you to look at each one of them and try to describe the problem. What seems to be the problem? What should he do? At the beginning in here, we're having a picture. It looks like someone is having a problem with his skin. Maybe itchy skin. Looks like maybe he ate or maybe it is an allergic reaction. What should this person do? You should see a doctor. You should take a cold shower. How about the other problem in here? Looks like someone who is having weight problem. Maybe he is overweight or he is underweight. What is the solution? What should this person do? I will tell him, you should avoid junk food. You should exercise. Also, we can tell that you should never or shouldn't avoid food. So he's not going to be an anorexic person. How about the problem in here? Looks like we're having someone who's sleepy, he's tired, he is stressed. Looks like he is stressed. What should you do? Someone who's stressed. We're going to give this person advice. You should take a break. You should plan a holiday. You shouldn't do too much work and enjoy your holiday. Should enjoy your weekends and holidays. We're going to discuss these problems. But before we get into there, let's discuss the types of listening. We're having 4 important types of listening. The first one is the content listening. Based on the question, you will find out that I'm asking you to find a very specific information. It could be a name, a number. And the second one is the comprehensive listening. You are going to be asked for general information. What is the main topic of the conversation? They're talking about problems, they're talking about weight control, the main idea. The following is about critical listening. You will listen, then you will give your own opinion, whether you agree with the speaker or you will say, no, I don't agree. I disagree with the speaker. By the end, we're having the emphatic listening. What is emphatic listening? You will listen, then you will give your opinion, whether you feel sorry towards the speaker, whether you feel proud towards them, you are mad. So you will react towards the listening, to what you have listened to the speakers, let's say. At the beginning in here, what are the steps that you will follow for an effective listening? One first thing that you all should do is the idea of read. Read so you can decide why you are listening. What are you listening for? Are you listening for general idea, specific information? Are you for a reaction or to give your opinion? It will be followed by, now it is the time to listen and listen carefully to find out the answer for what you have read already. Then you will take notes while you are listening, and you can do it after listening. Take notes. You don't have to write complete sentences. Words are going to be enough. Drawings will be welcome. So, at the beginning here, I want you to listen to the talk between these people, and you will tell where does the conversations take place. Where, let's say, do these conversations take place? We're having 3. You will listen and you will tell me where is the place. Let's listen together.
1. Now, Harvey, what seems to be the problem?
Well, doctor, whenever I look at myself in mirror, I feel terrible. I'm putting on so much weight.
Do you ever work out? Do you exercise?
Not really. I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk playing games on my computer.
What kind of food do you eat?
I have the usual pizza, beef burgers, fries, mostly fast food, but I don't eat all that much.
It isn't just the quantity, it's the quality. You should change your diet and eat more salads, fruits, and vegetables. And you ought to take up a sport or do some other physical activity.
Can't you just prescribe some of those diet pills, doctor?
2. What can I do for you, Adel?
Doctor, I have a problem with my skin. Look at my arms and hands, they're really itchy and I scratch all the time.
Have you talked to your parents about this? Have you used a different soap or something lately?
Actually, it was my parents who suggested I come and see you. No, I haven't used a different soap and I know we haven't changed detergent, so I don't know what it is.
What have you been eating?
Meat and vegetables and some fruit, fries, but I've always had fries. They've never done this to me. Oh yes, cashew nuts. I eat loads of nuts because I do a lot of training for the football team, you know.
Well, Adel, I don't think you need to worry about anything, as long as you stop eating nuts. Yes, I know they're really nutritious, but they don't seem to agree with you. And just to be on the safe side, I would advise you to stay away from all types of nuts and salty snacks. 3. So, Saeed, what's the matter with you?
I'm not sure. Every time I exercise or run, I feel really weak. The other day I nearly fainted at school. And the strange thing is, I eat well and I watch what I eat. I try to avoid junk food. I don't eat any sugar. I don't use salt.
I've known you since you were a kid and you never had a problem. What made you give up salt and sugar completely? Did anyone encourage you to avoid them?
Well, actually, no, but I read some articles on the web, and they said that if you are a man, it's a good idea to be careful with food and to get regular exercise as prevention against high blood pressure.
You're a young man. You've been strong and healthy since you were a baby. No wonder you've been feeling faint. You use up a lot of energy and you need calories, fuel for your system. Start with salt in your food. By the way, a little sugar won't hurt you, especially before or after practice. Your body needs it. The articles you read were probably addressed to older men, not teenagers like yourself. And don't believe everything you read, at least not yet.
Okay, so where do the conversations take place? We're having a doctor and 3 patients. So the conversations are actually taking place at the doctor's clinic. So where do the conversations, because we're having more than one conversation. These conversations take place at the doctor's clinic. Now we're going to listen to, you will find this chart in your books, page 22. You will listen. 3 teenagers are talking to Dr. Wise about their problems. Complete the chart. We're having Harvey, Adel, and Saeed. You will tell me about the problem, then the doctor's advice for them. We will listen to it one part by one. At the beginning, we will listen to the first conversation between Harvey and the doctor. What is Harvey's problem? What he said to the doctor, and then we will come what is the doctor's advice. Let's listen to Harvey's talk.
1. Now, Harvey, what seems to be the problem?
Well, doctor, whenever I look at myself in mirror, I feel terrible. I'm putting on so much weight.
Do you ever work out? Do you exercise?
Not really. I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk playing games on my computer.
What kind of food do you eat?
I have the usual pizza, beef burgers, fries, mostly fast food, but I don't eat all that much.
It isn't just the quantity, it's the quality. You should change your diet and eat more salads, fruits, and vegetables. And you ought to take up a sport or do some other physical activity.
Can't you just prescribe some of those diet pills, doctor?
Okay, so what seems to be the problem with Harvey? Harvey is actually he is gaining weight, a weight control. Every day or whenever he looks at himself in the mirror, he finds out that he is gaining weight. He is overweight. The doctor tried to give him some advice. What was the doctor's advice? He told him that he should change his diet and take up a sport. Change your diet, stay away from junk food, and you should take up a sport, try to exercise and do more sports. This is for gaining weight. How about Adil? What seems to be the problem with Adil, and what was the doctor's advice for him? Let's listen.
2. What can I do for you, Adil?
Doctor, I have a problem with my skin. Look at my arms and hands, they're really itchy and I scratch all the time.
Have you talked to your parents about this? Have you used a different soap or something lately?
Actually, it was my parents who suggested I come and see you. No, I haven't used a different soap and I know we haven't changed detergent, so I don't know what it is.
What have you been eating?
Meat and vegetables and some fruit, fries, but I've always had fries. They've never done this to me. Oh yes, cashew nuts. I eat loads of nuts because I do a lot of training for the football team, you know.
Well, Adil, I don't think you need to worry about anything, as long as you stop eating nuts. Yes, I know they're really nutritious, but they don't seem to agree with you. And just to be on the safe side, I would advise you to stay away from all types of nuts and salty snacks.
Okay, so what seems to be the problem with Adil? His problem is actually he has a problem with his skin. He scratches it all the time. It feels like it is red and it is itchy. What was the doctor's advice? He tried to ask him many questions just to know what the reason was, whether it's the soap or the food, and he gave him the advice. He said that he should stop eating nuts. The cashew nuts, they are healthy and good, however, they're not so good for Adil. They will cause him allergic reaction, which is the itchy and the redness in his skin. How about Saeed? What seems to be Saeed's problem, and what advice did the doctor give him? Let's listen to Saeed.
3. So, Saeed, what's the matter with you?
I'm not sure. Every time I exercise or run, I feel really weak. The other day I nearly fainted at school. And the strange thing is, I eat well and I watch what I eat. I try to avoid junk food. I don't eat any sugar. I don't use salt.
I've known you since you were a kid and you never had a problem. What made you give up salt and sugar completely? Did anyone encourage you to avoid them?
Well, actually, no, but I read some articles on the web, and they said that if you are a man, it's a good idea to be careful with food and to get regular exercise as prevention against high blood pressure.
You're a young man. You've been strong and healthy since you were a baby. No wonder you've been feeling faint. You use up a lot of energy and you need calories, fuel for your system. Start with salt in your food. By the way, a little sugar won't hurt you, especially before or after practice. Your body needs it. The articles you read were probably addressed to older men, not teenagers like yourself. And don't believe everything you read, at least not yet.
Okay, so what looks like to be Saeed's problem? Saeed is having a problem that he feels weak every time he exercises. When he goes to the gym or he runs, he feels like weak, maybe he's fainting. And what was the doctor's advice for him? He's saying he should start having salt in his food again, because he tried to avoid food and stop salt in his food and stop consuming or using salt because it is unhealthy for some bodies. Okay, what seems to be like in here, according to the doctor, why do they have these symptoms? Maybe Harvey is gaining weight because of his diet. Adil is having the problem because of the cashews, and we're having Saeed is having the problem because he is avoiding food. Which one do you think much more common among his people you know? I believe it is weight control is much more common. How can we avoid these problems? Always try to watch your diet. Do not avoid food unless you are advised by a doctor. Okay? For your homework, refer to your books on page 90. We're having exercises E and F. Exercise E and F in your books, page 90. Okay? I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.